I am part of the Phase team, and we're in a time of change, aren't we? Where we're all having to adapt, find new routines and rhythms, figure out what new normal looks like. That's actually what we previously knew no longer exists. Constant change is happening, lockdown rules are changing, and it can feel overwhelming. Which is why we've put this short video together about how to cope with change and give you some ideas as to what might help you during this time. We're going to look at 3 R's, and they are recognise, routine and resilience. So the first R that we're going to look at is recognise. Recognising what we can and can't control during this time is really important. There are many factors which we can't control, however there are still many things which we can. For example, we may not be able to control what's on the news, but we can control how much we watch, read or listen to it. We may not be able to see and connect with all our friends and our family physically right now, but we can choose to still connect with them, whether that's virtually, on the phone or even writing them a letter. A useful resource that we like at Phase is the circle of control. This helps us think through what can we control, what do we have some influence on, and actually what can't we control at all. Doing this is a helpful and visual way of seeing actually what are some of those things. It helps you to recognise where to put your time and energy, not using valuable energy actually on those things that you can't control, but instead on working on those things that you can. And if you want to find out a little bit more about this, then there's a link below and Emily explains us how to use this resource. It's also important to recognise our emotions, especially at the moment, whether that we're feeling frustrated, maybe we're feeling anxious, or maybe we're feeling stressed. And one way to do this is journaling, by using that space to write down what you're thinking, what you're feeling, the emotions, the questions you may have. If you've never tried journaling before, then why not give it a go? Below we've got a downloadable resource with 10 top tips on how to start journaling. And it's also important to recognise where you've experienced change previously and how you adapted it and how you managed it before, and learn from that experience. Our second R is routine. One thing that we have control over is how we manage our time. Something that I personally have found really helpful during lockdown is developing a routine. This, yes, may need to change and adapt, however there are still some key markers that now form part of my routine. And a routine helps our brain to know what is happening, and it helps to give structure. When thinking about starting to develop a routine, it's important to think about what are some of those activities that bring you joy, that bring life. What helps you to relax? What helps you get motivated? How can you incorporate connecting with others, being active? I find it helpful to plan out my week and have a weekly planner, and we've created our own one below, so if you want to, why not download it, write in it, fill it out, plan your week. We've also created 5 other videos around the 5 ways to wellbeing, so why not take a look at those and maybe incorporate some of those ideas into your routine. Within our routine, it can be helpful to set good rhythms. For example, making sure that the weekends feel different from the weekdays, especially at the moment. I found it helpful to make sure that Saturdays are the only day that I allow myself to lie in a bit longer. My housemate and I will go for a longer walk on a Saturday. These are just some of the ways in which I've helped distinguish my weekends from my weekdays. Another area where it's really important to develop a good routine is around sleep. You may have found that actually during lockdown your sleep has been affected. You're not sleeping as well as you previously were. And we know that sleep is really important for our well-being. It helps our mood, it boosts our immunity, gives us energy, it helps us reset for a new day. So if you are struggling with sleep or want to know how to build a good routine around this, then we have got a resource down below which has got 7 top tips on how to help you have a good night's sleep. So with all of this, a key question to ask is, what are the key markers which are going to help bring routine? Our third R is resilience. During this time, we're all having to learn how to adapt, how to be flexible, and are learning what it means to be resilient. And I love this quote, I think it sums it up perfectly. Look how much you've already managed to adapt to. Look how resilient you've already been. There's no right way to respond to this because it's never ever happened before. Give yourself some credit. There's no one in the whole world who has this figured out yet, so it's absolutely okay if you don't either. And as we learn more about what it means to be resilient, let's continue to show ourselves and others around us compassion, grace and kindness. I hope those 3 R's, recognise, routine and resilience, have just helped you think through a little bit more how you might be able to cope with change. Please do look at the downloadable resources below on this video and think about ways in which you can use them.